So apparently this is a thing, and people want to know what I think about it. Equestria Girls, not to be confused with the fan-made webcomic with a very similar name, is an upcoming show featuring the main characters from Friendship is Magic traveling to another world and transforming into humans. And apparently this is going to be a side story or alternate universe that has no impact on the main series. As of right now, so little is known about the show that some people are still considering it to just be a rumor. That also means there's almost nothing to talk about except for the concept itself and the small amount of promotional artwork that's been released. Now personally, I'm fine with humanized ponies, and I think there's a lot of potential for a good story here. It's just too bad that I'm not all that enthusiastic about the character designs, and that's going to be the bulk of my rant here. Now a lot of this has to do with personal taste, so your opinion might be different, but for one thing, I've never been a fan of making human ponies with the same skin color as their coat. I mean, if you're gonna make them look human, then make them look human. Though I understand this could also be a way to avoid another potentially controversial issue. Usually within the fandom, the default setting is to make the characters white, and to a certain degree that makes sense when you consider that a lot of Equestria's design is based on English, French, German, and Greek culture, as well as the farming and ranching culture of the southern United States. Unfortunately, whenever someone's tried to interpret the characters as being, say, black or Asian, it has, at least in the past, resulted in them taking a ridiculous amount of flack for no reason at all. Now, obviously, as a form of artistic expression, this really shouldn't be a big deal one way or another. However, when you look at this from more of a business perspective, it's important to consider that when you have a group of characters with universal appeal that people have already spent years growing accustomed to, suddenly slapping a canonized racial identity onto those characters that might not have been there before carries the risk of alienating a significant portion of your pre-existing audience. So, what's the most reasonable, maybe, solution to all of this? Make the human form the same color as the pony. Aside from that, the characters have very strange proportions as they all have huge legs and heads, but really tiny bodies. I guess this is consistent with their pony designs, but now it just reminds me of Littlest Pet Shop, and we all know how well the human models work on that show. Now, I've noticed that between all of the promotional art that's been released so far, the characters seem to have two different forms. In one form, they have human ears and their hair comes down to a reasonable length, whereas in the other form, they have pony ears, the Pegasi and Alicorn of the group now have their wings visible, their cutie marks appear on their faces, and their hair now comes down to their feet, giving the appearance of having tails. Now, this is actually very interesting. It suggests that there might be a kind of magical girl transformation where the characters essentially power up, maybe while fighting a villain. This might give us the biggest clue so far about what kind of show this is going to be. But of course, I still have one more thing to talk about: the outfits. Now, I don't know anything about fashion, but I'm sorry, these designs look kind of ugly. They're all wearing skirts and boots or baggy knee-high socks when it doesn't even make sense for half of them. I mean, look at Rainbow Dash. I know they're trying to make her look more sporty, but why the hell would this be a regular part of her attire? And why does Rarity, a professional dressmaker with an eye for big, elaborate designs, have the simplest looking outfit of everyone? Even Twilight's skirt looks more detailed than this. And I'm saying all of this with the understanding that you're still trying to sell this to young girls. One of the biggest advantages of making the characters human is that you now have more of an excuse to dress them up. And yet, the worst thing about this is, these outfits don't even express their personalities half as well as when they were just running around naked. Now look, I've seen fan art that looks better than this, that would also lend itself perfectly well to animation, including that webcomic I mentioned earlier. And speaking of which, the artist Megasuite, whose designs have also been on sale at Hot Topic by the way, has already changed the title of the comic to hopefully avoid a cease and desist from Hasbro, and I definitely wish him luck with that. That guy is seriously talented. So for now, I wish we knew more about this and had more details to talk about, but I do think there's a reason to be excited about this. Like I said, I'm not crazy about the character designs, but I'll still check it out. Maybe some things will be improved by the time it comes out, but most of all, let's just hope the final product is good. So what do you think? Are you excited for Equestria Girls? Do the humanized ponies just not appeal to you at all? Or are you somewhere in between? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you later.